we'll get into the Eagles real quick. Um, Now, according to reports, holy smokes, Howie Roseman and co, Jeffrey Lurie and Nick Sirianni, they have a soft spot for Jalen Hurts to the point that they don't feel like they can tell him the truth about himself. Now, this is according to reports. You know, reports are rumors sometimes. We don't know if this is true or not, but do I believe it? Hell yeah, I do. Um, Definitely think, uh, his value, Jalen Hurts' value to the Eagles is diminishing. Uh, know a lot of diehard Eagles fans, and you got some who think he can't hit the side of a barn with a football, and some who swear by him. He got hot last year. He made the run, got the Super Bowl, beat Patrick Mahomes. After he lost to Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago or whatever, yeah, it was 2 years before that, and outplay him in that game. So a lot of people revere Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, but it's a lot of people that ain't feeling Jalen Hurts. We heard all the Tanner McKee chants and everything else, and how they felt like Tanner McKee was better. Listen, I have my thoughts on that too, but we gonna read this report because this is getting pretty good. So, of course, they drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. I don't think they thought that Jalen Hurts was going to be a starter. Carson Wentz was the man there. But according to Mike Silver of The Athletic, some NFL sources familiar with the Eagles' organizational mindset believe they might draft a quarterback this spring. Backup Tanner McKee was a 2023 sixth-round selection and is also highly regarded in the Eagles building. He did add, however, that Hurts likely isn't going anywhere anytime soon, given that he's still under contract for 3 more years. The 2027, I'm sorry, the 27-year-old threw for 3,200 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions this past season. He completed 65% of his passes while rushing 400 yards. The numbers look solid. Those Phillies offense was inconsistent at best and certainly predictable for most of the season. Some of that falls on Hurts' limitations as a passer. So the word is starting to get out. The word is starting to get out. Time will tell if adding a more established offensive coordinator will help the team's offense right away, right the ship at the disastrous Kevin Patullo experiment. But Silver reported Hurts has been the source of much internal frustration, including from teammates other than A.J. Brown. The Eagles will need growth from their franchise QB as well in 2026. If they adopt his ability to do so, wouldn't be shocked if they invest in a contingency plan. Why would that surprise anybody? Woe is D. Woe is D. Hey, you see the caption? Woe is D is like she's the production manager. You like the caption? Can you see it? Can it be read better? Listen, this isn't something that we have not talked about. Videos on the channel. The Philadelphia Eagles do not play. Remember, they gave Carson Wentz one of the biggest contracts in NFL history at that time at the quarterback position. And they benched him for Jalen Hurts. The Philadelphia Eagles will turn around and do it again. They will turn around and do that again. They will do that. They need production. Jalen Hurts is, but these are the same things you start to hear about Russell Wilson in Seattle. It's a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes in Philadelphia. players not vibing and jiving with Jalen Hurts. We've heard some of the reports that he is turning into a diva. You know, now, like I said, they reports. We don't know what's fully true or not, but when your whole team is being frustrated with him, it's got to have truth to it. Where smoke is fire. And like I said before, in my opinion, he's more infatuated with his image than he is with playing football. I think he is looked at as the ambassador of the Eagles. He's one of the guys the NFL probably like. Okay, but if he can't go out there and put that ball in the air and get that ball to where it needs to go, the Eagles go out to make a move. Jalen, it's me. It's time for him to go. Listen, the Eagles putting a plan together. Howie Roseman and them over there are not going to play around. He's getting a mulligan year. They're gonna bring in an offensive coordinator. Let's see if they get a Mike McDaniel, especially if they get a Mike McDaniel. Now, if they get a Mike McDaniel and he can't get him to play, he's gonna be out of here by game 5 of next year. Now they're putting the full onus on Jalen Hurts. They're putting the full onus on Jalen Hurts now. We played the video the other day about how LaShawn McCoy said he talked to people in the building and how he's limited in his reads and what he can and can't do. And you have to be honest, that Philadelphia Eagles team has been stacked over the last few years. That team's been stacked. That team has always had a whole bunch of talent. Like I said, you had the offensive line. You got Lane Johnson on one side. You had Travis Kelsey, a Hall of Famer. Lane Johnson, a Hall of Famer. Cam Jurgens, a good guy. Jordan Mailata, a good offensive lineman. Had Mekhi Becton, who was on a revenge tour. You had all these guys on that offensive line. Then you got Saquon Barkley, who had never been anywhere. He was going to show out as soon as he got to Philly. He was going to show his worth. The Giants kicked him out of the organization. Didn't think he was good enough anymore. All of that, they was ready for him to go. So he was going to show his worth. Then you got Devontae Smith. He's one of the more underrated wide receivers in the league. Great route runner, good combat catcher. He got a small frame, but he get busy. Then you got AJ Brown. AJ Brown plays like he's 6'5". He's all of 6 feet. He is just physical. Yeah, he had a couple drops in the playoff game, but he still is a beast. Then you got Dallas Goedert. So you got all the pieces over there in Philadelphia. So even if you're an average quarterback, very average quarterback, you should be able to be good in that system. Now, I had somebody say on TikTok, and if you guys are on TikTok or whatever, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not really on TikTok. I dropped some videos over there, and I might go check the comments out after a day or so. But I do post over there. Um, I had somebody call Jalen Hurts an athletic Trent Dilfer. Not an athletic Trent Dilfer. Oh man, but I'm gonna say this. Trent did what he had to do for that system, and it worked, and it got him a title. But Trent Dilfer also went making $200-something billion on a contract either. So it's hard to even call him that. Jalen Hurts is in a league of his own. I think he's an overachiever. He's an overachiever. I mean, he was okay. He was okay in Alabama. He was okay at Oklahoma. I wasn't like his biggest fan even coming out of school. I just didn't really see it. He did some okay things. You know, he was okay. He was okay, but he's like an okay quarterback on a really, 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 really good team. And, he's not going to be a guy that's going to carry a franchise. That's just my opinion. He's not that guy. What you say, Wallace D? Do you think Tanner will eventually get a chance when they trade him? I don't think they're going to trade him. I mean, according to the reports on what I just read, they love him in the building. Love Tanner McKee in the building. Let's just say they go get a Daniel. They go get a Mike McDaniel, and training camp comes up next year. And let's just say, let me say this, because like I said, I know everybody was mad with Kevin Patullo. He was a first-time play caller. He was all those things. I get it totally. And maybe he was an average offensive coordinator at best. Average. Cool. Average offensive coordinator. Very, very mid. Okay, cool. Didn't work with Jalen Hurts. Okay. But every time Tanner McKee came in, even in the preseason, he was throwing darts all over the field. So he even looked better in that offense. Where am I trying to go to? If they get a Mike McDaniel, or what's my guy New York that got fired? Brian Dable. They bring up Brian Dable or Mike McDaniel in as the OC for the Philadelphia Eagles. You think you saw something with Tanner McKee in these last 2 years? Wait till you get one of them. I'm telling you, and see, you're going to see a big difference in the way he runs an offense versus what Kevin Patullo ran. Like I said, I'm not dogging Kevin Patullo because I think Kevin Patullo was a guy that I think he was just in over his skis a little bit, especially for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a very by the book guy. He's very limited. And, maybe the creativity wasn't there for Kevin Patullo at that point. But I'm telling you, you bring a Mike McDaniel in who had Tua, who's a mad scientist when it comes to scheming up an offense. And if Jalen Hurts cannot run that offense, and we get to see a Tanner McKee or whoever else that they draft come in and they get to running that offense like it's crazy, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We might have some controversy this fall coming up. Because probably what they're going to do is, like they usually do, and I'm telling you, this is how the Eagles work in any NFL organization. I don't care what organization it is. Just like they did Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray might have had a foot injury, but don't think that it wasn't exaggerated. It was probably exaggerated because they want to start looking somewhere else. And what happened at the end of the season? More than likely, unless it's some coach that comes in and say they want Kyler Murray, they're going to put him on the trade block. Hey, we just want to start fresh. Unless whoever the new coach come in wants Kyler Murray, they're going to put him on the trade block. Why wouldn't they do the same thing with Jalen Hurts? If he's thoroughly getting beat out by Tanner McKee or whatever person that they put in, and they get in that Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable offense, and they're running it way better than Jalen Hurts is, we're going to have problems by training camp. That's why they're trying to be as nice and sensitive about it. Jalen Hurts going to have to really step his game up. He's going to really have to step his game up. And see, now that he has that pressure on his back, like I told people before, Kenny Pickett was the buffer. They knew Kenny Pickett wasn't good enough to take Jalen Hurts' spot. But they know Tanner McKee is. They know Tanner McKee is the better quarterback. Then when you have your other players that is making hundreds of $1,000,000 a year, and A.J. Brown making 30-something $1,000,000 a year, and Devontae Smith and all those guys, and they all start complaining, it's going to go up to upper management. They may not have wanted to look at that situation, but they have no choice. And then they're starting to get justification when you have people in the media start to come out. And the people in the media say, yeah, I heard this, I heard that. Yeah, Jalen's not going through his reads. He's scared to go over the middle of the field. Robert Saleh said something last week, and he brought this up from, I don't know, it was when the 49ers played them a few years ago or something like that when he was originally there. He said, yeah, just run zero blitz on them. He said that a few years ago, and they did that last week, and we saw what Jalen Hurts looked like. So that means you're still having the same problems you had a few years ago. So your game has not evolved. What'd you say? Yeah, they say Dave. Yeah, Dave will be a saint over there. Yeah, yeah, Dave would be insane over there. I think so. I think he would be a great fit. Let's see here. I think he would be a good fit over there. Hey, if you guys are lurking around in the building, if you guys can hit the like button for me, that would be excellent. You know, we got to get people to start seeing these live shows, and we're going to keep growing this show. We, like I said, got some things working coming down the pipe. So just make sure you guys, if you're here, if you guys can like, subscribe, share it, that'll be great. I'm trying to get it up in the vertical too. Next time we go live, like I said, I was kind of running a little bit late, so I'm gonna work on that for you guys. And we got some cool things coming up, segments, stuff like that. But yeah, we got some stuff coming up. We definitely got some stuff coming up. But yeah, so back to the Eagles. Now that it's become a thing where people don't care if you making $200 million or not. The quarterback can be benched. Will Jalen Hurts be benched next year? Let's go get interesting. Let's go get interesting. For that report to come out, that was a pretty interesting report. So we're going to move on to the next subject. We going to keep an eye on that situation as the year and the off season goes on. If the Eagles end up drafting a quarterback, that may tell you something. Even if he's not a starter right away, that means they're setting up a backup situation, especially when they already have two or three quarterbacks as is. So that may be telltale sign that Jalen Hurts may be on his way out, or they're really, really looking to maybe move off of him soon. So